Chantal, you could start if you want. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. Retail News Report, 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Trade carefully. All right, so good morning, and let's get right into retail because that's what we're here for this morning. I will not be trading the gold open. So let's talk about retail because retail is a very complicated report and it's a tough event. If you look at its history, if we go back 5 years, and it does have meaning to go back to try and figure out why it's a difficult report, a difficult event to trade. 5 years ago, it used to trade with the CPI report, and it was a great event to trade. Then about 3 years ago, they split the reports apart, and from that day on, U.S. retail has been a difficult event to trade. We have literally tried everything. Trap trades, NQ, ES, GC, gold. So let me tell you where we are today. Every now and then I come into the trade room and I have no idea what to do. And it's pretty rare and it's not that common. I thought when I went to bed last night that I knew what I wanted to do. And I woke up early this morning and was doing some extra testing and I realized, you know what? I need about 30 hours to continue testing this event to figure out how to trade it safely. Every now and then you run into an event that it's just really complicated to figure out what to do. It should be easy. The news is not that complicated. We're looking at retail sales month over month, year over year. The month over month is the important data. It's not that complicated. But what's complicated is the way that the indexes respond. That's the complication. For the past couple of months, gold. Caesar, please check your email, okay? Please check your email. There's a Thursday class. I don't know what time. I think it's 1 p.m. It'll be recorded, okay? The retail report, it's the last 2 months, gold has been working okay as a breakout, not very good as a trap trade, okay? Not very good as a trap trade. The NQ, I have a really good setup for the NQ, but it hasn't been tested live, so it's sort of an unknown. And the ES, mediocre at best as a breakout. And then Chantal has said that she has a range trade on gold. And I think if we really ask her, is she an unbelievable believer in that testing? I think she might say no. That yes, it was the best she could come up with. But I think she would probably agree with me that the setup for retail is a problem. It's a problem. So it's a question of what you want to do in terms of risk. You don't have to trade the report. I mean, that's probably, if I was trading my family's money in my office alone, I would not trade this report. I would not risk my family's money on it. Why? Why would you? When you could trade, if you came to the trade room last night, you had an opportunity to trade Australia's wage price index. That's a good performing report. We took a shot with New Zealand. We could have made money on that. We didn't, but we didn't lose either. But there's reports where the whole idea of what we do here, the whole idea is to try to trade the events that will give you the best opportunity for profit. Retail doesn't fit that right now because it's been inconsistent. When a report is inconsistent, it's probably the greatest enemy to trading a report profitably. So what does inconsistent mean? It means maybe 2 months in a row the trap trade was good and then it had a couple of months that were bad. Maybe it means that the NQ looks good, but not for very long. Now, maybe just for 2 months. Maybe gold looks good as a breakout, but you're worried about the reversals and the liquidity. And that's what we're facing with retail. I mean, that's the truth. Um, as I'm sitting here, what I was thinking of doing, I don't want to lose a fortune of money on a report that's inconsistent, but sometimes you have no idea whatsoever if a report is safe to trade unless you trade it live. Now, we've traded gold live a lot on this particular event. So here's what I thought I would do. My testing on the NQ was very interesting. Give me a second. I want to start the recorder. One minute. Okay. So, originally I was thinking I would like to trade gold and the NQ at the same time, but gold tends to really whip around on this report. So I'm just going to test gold and I'm going to trade my NQ setup live, only one contract. And that's how I'm going to approach retail. And then we'll just analyze it after the trade. We'll look at the way the various indexes worked and moved. And I don't think that we're going to have a firm decision how to trade it next week, next month. I don't think I want to trade the trap trade anymore. I mean, that's what's on the DMM. And sometimes the DMM is behind us in the trade room, meaning sometimes we're moving on to something else because of results that are happening in the trade room. So right now, the DMM is still on the trap trade. And I believe, let me double check something because it is important. I thought I want to take a look at July, the real video of the trade while we're in the room. Okay, so here's July. And we were talking about the same problems last month. This is a report that just has been very difficult. So I was testing the trap trade, and we didn't trade it live last month. That's how miserable it's been trading. The gold breakout worked, and the trap trade had a possibility of working as well for a moment. Okay, it's reversing there. It filled one tier. Then it changed direction. And right in this area, you could have gotten out of the trap trade where it could have worked also. So it's just a mystery. It's just a total difficult, it's a difficult choice what to trade on this report. That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm pretty much, I'm somewhat at a loss. I'm somewhat at a loss. The reason I hesitate on the trap trade, out of six, seven, eight trap trades, it's only had one or two trades where it made more than $190. So it's been, a small profit center. We're always trying to get a better setup going. So I'll tell you what might make sense. In looking at last month's video, we can test and see what the gold breakout looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm still looking for a better setup on this report. It may be that just staying with the trap trade and its mediocre profits might be the best solution. But I'm being honest when I've reached a point on this report where I don't know. Okay. And it's pretty rare. Like I said, there's two reports that I can think of where I really don't think that I know what the best thing to do is. And this is one of them. So when you reach that point, you don't have to spend real money. You can keep testing until you become enlightened, or you could just say, I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait until the right setup starts to work. So my gut feeling, we can easily test the trap trade after the report if we want to. It's extremely easy and very reliable to test the trap trade. So my setup for NQ, and frankly, I don't want to test anything with real money on this report because I don't have much faith in any of my testing. Yes, the NQ was decent for 3 months, but it didn't give me the confidence, that I'm dying to have when I trade a report. You could trade the MNQ, but for some reason, I'm personally not a lover of the MNQ on breakout trades. I prefer the MNQ on the NQ Open. I like it, but not so much on big news reports. It's just me personally. So my NQ setup, and I saved a template. So it's a breakout trade. My activation time is 8:29:59. It's a 25 tick bracket. If I were going to trade two contracts, which I'm not willing to take the risk, it would be for 12 ticks and 30 ticks. So I'm going to trade one target, one position for 19 ticks. That's all I'm looking for. It's really a test, okay? It's a test. It's a 35 tick stop, so I'm willing to risk about 160 bucks on the trade. And frankly, as I sit here, the more that I sit here and the more that I think, I would rather just test this report. There's so many reports today, so many reports every week that I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired of trading reports that aren't working. And there's been a lot of reports that are working. Last week we kind of had a crappy week, but a couple of trades that I didn't trade well also, and it was a crappy week last week. So I do want to thank everybody that's on YouTube that's watching us. If you hit the like button, it would be very much appreciated. And if you join and sign up with us, you can find out when our next stream is going to be. So look, folks, I'm just gonna test this morning. We'll be here all morning. We're going to be trading oil. We've got plenty to do. I just don't feel like starting my day by losing money on retail. I don't trust my testing. I mean, it's not that I don't trust my testing. I don't have enough of it to be sure about what I think is going to happen. So I'm going to test the NQ. I'm going to do my exact template with two contracts. We'll have a good idea what's going to happen on this report, and maybe we'll know for next month how we should trade it. Can you trade the trap trade? Yeah, if you want to trade the trap trade, trade it with micros, and that's how I'll set it up. Okay. We can always come back and test it with full size. Micros are a fine test for a breakout. Sorry, for a trap trade. Trap trade is a low liquidity, sorry, a low slippage event, a low slippage setup. So it's perfectly fine to trade it with a trap trade. So my NQ setup, and like I said, I'm not trading live money. I want to see what happens. I've got one target for 12 ticks, one target for 30 ticks, a 35 tick stop, and an entry time of 8:29.59, and it's a breakout trade. And if it works perfectly, I do not go cry in the corner based on the fact that I didn't trade live. Yes, I've got testing, but this is a difficult report that's been really hard to figure out what the best setup is. And we've tried literally every month, we do new testing on this report. So that's my NQ setup. On gold, I'm going to test full size, and you could do the exact, give me a second. You can do the exact same test. I'm going to have to reboot my platform for a second, so bear with me. With gold, you can do the same trap trade that you would do with either full-size gold or mini gold, micro gold. So my NQ setup, setting up my NQ setup one more time. Retail NQ breakout, 8:29.59 on the entry time breakout trade, a 25 bracket, one position for 12 ticks, one position for 30, a 35 tick stop, and target one stop move. If the first target is hit, I'm going to move my stop to break even -4. Target one stop move, break even -4. And I'm labeling it NQ retail. And let's just double check our bracket size real quick. So that's my NQ setup. And like I said, maybe the trap trade will work incredibly well today. And maybe I'll want to go back, we'll just gain faith in the trap trade again. But it's been a report that it is what it is, folks. Sometimes things don't work great in terms of testing and in terms of real live trading. Now, the trap trade setup, I'm going to take from the DMM I'm going to make a change in terms of time. I'm going to activate the time. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So first, let's get the trap trade going. Strategy, trap trade, time of the event, 8:30. That's the most important, one of the most important things you type into the trap trade. If your time of the event is wrong, the trade will not trigger. It won't work. Okay. Activation time, preparation seconds, 7 seconds before 8:30, my orders will show up on the chart. That's my setup. Okay. Now, position one and position two are both a one. So I've got two tiers. My first tier is going to be 16 ticks. And my second tier is going to be 28 ticks. My guess is only one tier is going to fill. I don't think we're going to get that big a move of a move. That's what I think. Okay. That's what I think. And my stop is 18 ticks. My stop is 18 ticks. Let me go over the trap trade one more time. Right click the chart. Right click the chart. Click on trap trade version 4. Position size 1 is a 1. Position size 2 is a 1. Everything else leave alone. Stop loss is 18. Tier 1 is 16. Tier 2 is 28. You could make your tier look, if you look at the DMM, the tiers have a range. So you could use 17 and 26. It's okay to be within the range. Okay. You don't have to use the same tiers as I do. The time of the event is 8:30, and the activation time, what it means, how do you read it from the DMM? The DMM says 29:40. It means 8:29:40. The time of the event is 8:30, so that's 20 seconds before 8:30. Okay. In theory, then activation time should be 20 seconds. It should be how many seconds before the event the orders go on the chart. In theory, it should be 20. I have found that 20 is too long of a time, and we're going to get that changed. And I think what will get changed is we'll have this say prep seconds. It'll be easier and less confusing. You won't have to calculate anything. So I'll get working on that right away and get the DMM changed. It'll be a lot easier. But just so you understand what it means and how to figure it out, just so you understand, version 2 KT, you still put 7 seconds in, but I have to tell you honestly, I don't recall. I don't know why you're using the old version when you should be downloading, you should have been downloaded the new version. So don't trade it live if you don't know what's going on, truthfully. But the item, it's not called activation prep seconds on the old version. And if you type in the names of the inputs, you should be able to tell which one it is. But I forgot what it's called. I have to tell you the truth. I haven't looked at version 2 in a long time. But definitely download the new version so it makes sense. 8:30 is the time of the event, the preparation, the time the orders go on the chart before the news, 7 seconds. My tiers are 16 and 28, and my stop is an 18. What do I think is going to work? My gut feeling is the trap trade's going to work today and the breakout, possibly both. And also, I think there's a possibility a gold breakout could work. I think it's very possible. Very possible. I want to check our time sync. Now, ironically, I wasn't watching the gold signals. Was anybody watching gold signals for the open? I have no idea how the gold open worked. I'm curious, but I don't know. Might have been a short, depending on signals. Was it an easy short, Chantal? Looks like it might have been easy. I'm going to check my time sync by going to the website time.is. Okay, and our computers are in sync. Not much of a move. I guess minutes later, it looked pretty good. All right, so I've got my retail news off to the side. All right. My computers are in sync. You know, we made a couple of $100 last night. It's part of today's profit. I don't want to just throw it away when I'm uncertain about what the best way to trade retail is, because there's too many options and none of them have been fantastic. That's a moment in time that you sit back and you say, it's okay to test. Those are the moments you test. Okay? You don't have to, you don't ever have to feel like you must trade to prove something. You don't have to trade live to be sure something is going to work. You know, if you see results, if you do your own testing, then you'll really know what this is all about. When you do your own testing, it's absolutely the best way to figure out what's going on. Now, I do want to thank, there's a lot of people watching on YouTube, so please hit that like button, sign up for the channel. Definitely, you know, become a trade room member if you want to trade with us. So we've got not much more time. We got a minute and a half to go. See, looking at the gold 1 minute chart, it looks like the gold open was incredible and a monster move. But did that candle reverse? Is that what happened? And it was at a new low. It was very close. Yep. All right, we've got a minute to go. Got a minute to go. There's a ton of people here this morning, a lot of people. Thank you all for coming. So let's see. Let's see what's going to happen here. Trap trade on the right, NQ breakout on the left, 25 tick bracket on the NQ, targets of 12 and 32-ish with a stop of 35 and an entry at 59 seconds. Now the trap trade can take a minute or two to resolve. So I'll pay attention to the NQ might be instant. There's our trap trade. I think there's our breakout. So my NQ, absolutely perfect, 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 absolutely perfect. Trap trade, excellent. You can get out of this trap trade with ease. Oh my Lord, look at this. Oh, now I'm in the corner. Folks, I am so in the corner, crying like a baby because testing proved that it worked. I now have enough NQ testing, and I can tell by the speed of that trade that it was a perfect NQ trade. And that's the best trap trade in the history of the retail report ever, maybe, where you didn't even have to do anything and could have had about a 900 to $1,000 trade without doing anything. And look, I'm not in the corner. I made a decision to test because I wasn't happy with the way that the events were trading. It's like I said, maybe I'm not going to give up on the trap, and maybe what we'll do is add the NQ as a secondary setup. So, you could say, hey, you wasted all your time and you just are a foolish person for not trading. You're just doing everything wrong, but that's not what it's all about. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet, put your test in on a live market because it's very different than testing on a simulated replay market. So, I don't know if anybody traded live. If you traded live, tell me what you did. Tell me what you did. And there's one other thing I want to look at. One other thing I want to check out. So bear with me. So gold as a trap trade really worked well. Let's look at the video. You can tell from the video also whether or not gold was viable as a breakout. Here's the news. Now, the retail news was better than expected. It was up 0.4%. They expected a negative number on the month over month. It was actually was flat on month over month. So the news was a little bit mixed. If you really look at it, the two most important numbers were mixed. It wasn't mixed by a lot, but it certainly, the market certainly responded. It went down initially, then it completely reversed, then it went down again. So it could be that the market is looking at this as negative news. And sometimes it's totally confusing why the market looks at certain news as negative or positive. Now, before the people go on YouTube, I want to thank you all for watching. And if you like learning about trading events, one of the things you could do to get started is subscribe to our daily reports. They had the trap trade, the way that we traded and tested today was one of the setups on our daily reports. If you just type in www.getdmmnow.com, www.getdmmnow.com, you can subscribe to our daily reports for just $47. www.getdmmnow.com. So thanks everybody on YouTube for watching. This is what we do. We learn how to trade the news. There are times when sometimes we don't trade and we test so that the next time the report is traded, we know exactly what to do. And that's the way it went this morning. I was in a testing mode because there's been a lot of mixed results on this report. Both my tests panned out, and that's going to help us trade this event next month. So thanks for watching us on YouTube, and hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe so you know the next time we're going to be streaming. www.getvmmnow.com. So thanks on YouTube. We'll see you next time.